Have you ever heard this from your parents? I can do it myself. I know from experience with my dad, they're getting older, they're feeling helpless or insecure. They feel like they can't do as many things for themselves. And it's really scary because they've been independent for how many decades? And it's a period of consternation. They are concerned, they're a little scared. They just have not felt like this before, at least not as long as they can remember. So it's a very difficult time, and we as family or close friends have to understand that and figure out a way how to help them despite their resistance. Hi, my name's Katharina Bertena, and today we're here to talk about how to better care for your loved one. The number one thing is be patient and understanding. One thing I've found in my experience, not only with my father, but with our clients, is in situations, especially with dementia, they'll often repeat themselves over and over and over. And it can get terribly annoying. But if you just approach their questions with first time responses, just pretend like you've never heard it before and you're answering it for the first time. They feel confident. They got their answer. They don't remember that they've asked you 500 times in the last month, but it doesn't matter because you have not taken away their faith in themselves. Another thing to remember is try not to argue, because if you do, first of all, they're not necessarily logical at that moment, and it really won't do much good unless it's a situation where they're going to be better cared for or in less danger. Perhaps their situation is a fall risk and you want to make certain that they are using the walker. That's a situation where maybe they could be coaxed into using it. Maybe you could even get a grandchild to come up and say, Grandma, what is that? How do you use that? Can I try? And grandma will know that it's too big for the grandchild. And perhaps the grandchild can say, let me show you how to use it. And you'll see that it's too big for you. And maybe you can get them to use it and be proud that they showed a grandchild, how to actually use a piece of equipment. It just takes, the whole family to be behind the situation and to really respect the needs and wants of your loved one. Because if you were in that situation, you don't want to feel humiliated. And you don't want them to feel humiliated either. So do your best to accommodate or coax, redirect if you have to, and get the whole family to kind of help you with coaxing and always be loving. Number 2 is improve communication. Sometimes if you say, oh, let's pull you up in bed, they're going to say, I can do it myself. So the best thing to do is just say, hey, are you comfortable, Mom? Do you need to pull yourself up in bed? Can I maybe give you a little help? Oh, your pillow could be a little fluffier. Let me treat you like a queen today and help you. Whatever works, whatever kind of personality your family member is, just try to play on that. Another thing you can do is check in. A lot of times, especially if someone has been independent his or her whole life, they're not going to say, I'm too tired to walk to the kitchen to get a glass of orange juice. Or they don't want to bother you because they need to use the bathroom and they know you're busy. So it's your duty to ask them, how are you feeling? What can I get for you? Do you need to use the restroom? I can help you. Whatever it takes. But you've got to open those channels of communication, because I've met a lot of very proud, very stubborn people, and they're stubborn because they don't want to bother you. And it's really great when you can just offer them the help, because then they'll be like, maybe I can go ahead and tell her I need this or I need that. You're just helping them, and it's a big deal. Also, be a really good listener. My dad was in Nice in France during World War II. He was a little boy, and that is the time where he has the most vivid memories. He's 91 today, and he still tells the same stories over and over, and they're actually really fascinating stories. And sure, I've heard them a million times, but I just listen like I've never heard them before, and he gets so excited. He loves talking about it, and I love seeing him happy. So it's worth it. And by the end of it, you'll be able to tell your kids, grandkids, great grandkids about your dad's story, just like I can. Number 3 is to make more time for them. I know in this crazy busy world of ours, that's a really big ask, but they're not going to be with you forever. And it's really nice you have something like a doctor's appointment or a PT situation where you have to go to a facility. Maybe it's just getting some blood work done. If you can, squeeze out just that little bit of extra time to grab a quick bite, go get a coffee, and just spend some time, even if it's just a little bit. It means so much to them. And in the long run, you'll find out that you'll be really glad you had that extra time. It's something you'll remember, even though you think it's kind of trivial now. You'll definitely remember later on. And it's a little piece of magic that you carry with you. Number 4, don't rush them. You'll find little tasks, something like, okay, we do have a doctor's appointment. You've got to get dressed now. And they're just luxuriating over a cup of coffee and toast. Sometimes you have to just be patient. Maybe tell them the doctor's appointment is at 11 and it's really at 12. So you start getting the ball rolling a little earlier, and that way they can still feel like they're having their morning time and enjoying the morning, reading a paper, which a lot of people still do, or just looking out the window, watching things in the neighborhood. But that way they don't get angry, they don't get frustrated. And even if it takes setting the clocks back, I hate to admit it, but I've done that myself, where you set the clocks back an hour throughout the house, and then they just think it's normal time. They get up, and then it's really an hour earlier, and you make it to the doctor's on time. So it works. It's a little tricky, but you do what you have to do. Number 5, avoid frustrating situations. Something that drives my dad crazy. So again, from experience, and I do apologize, but I've had a lot of experience with him living with me. And then of course, 31 years in the business and our clients, I hear a lot of stories. If he has to go to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription and he goes at the wrong time of the day, maybe it's close to lunchtime and one of the pharmacists is off, they're short-handed, and you've got a line of people out the door. He'll stand in line for a while, then he gets agitated. And rather than have that happen, redirect him so he goes at a time when it's less busy, order them online and have them delivered. However you can avert the frustration. But it's, for me, a 50-50 situation, because he likes to run errands, and I think that's what is part of keeping him young. So I have to balance which chores he's tasked with. Usually it's going to the bank to make a deposit, because there's nobody at the bank who actually goes in person to make a deposit. So it's an easy task for him, and he feels good about it later. So just try to avoid those situations or change the time when he's going out to do it. All right, number 6, I think this is something universal, not just for caring for your parents. Avoid politics if you can. I've seen some of the families of our clients have full-on huge breakouts over a holiday meal because somebody starts talking politics, not everybody agrees, and then things get heated, and the elderly host and hostess get frustrated, or even if they're just guests, they are uncomfortable, as is everyone else in the room, because it's just not something you really want to talk about. So avoid it. You know, I've got family members on opposite ends of the spectrum here with politics, and it's just off limits during meals, especially most gatherings. You know, it's just better to talk about your kids' achievements in sports or science rather than talk about politics. If you'd like to learn more about Colonial Home Care, our history, our services, and how we can help you, please give us a call, 714-289-7220. We're available 24 hours a day by phone, or you can look at our website, which is colonialhomecareservices.com. We hope to see you soon. Thank you.